Good morning. Vision boards. What do you think? Do they work? Do they not? I had the honor and privilege of chatting with a group of friends of mine on a Zoom this morning, and the topic I was supposed to teach on was vision boards. So I wanted to come in and share some of the information with you, as well as share my current one and even taking a look at one of my old ones and seeing, did any of it work? Did any of it come true? And to kick it off, what I shared with the group this morning, what I want to share with you is, why do we use vision boards and why might it work? Why does it work? What's the point? And something that I've learned from one of my coaches, from my coach, Deb Erickson with I Can Institute, is how the vision boards apply to our core beliefs. How our core beliefs impact our action, our activities, whether it's business or in our health goals or anything, and how by elevating our core beliefs, it can impact everything. So if you can imagine like a circle, you may have heard something like this before if you studied with Deb or David Wood or a lot of personal development, but our core beliefs represent, what we believe about ourselves. Like, I am blank, what's fill in the blank, or people are blank, or business is blank, or losing weight is blank. And what tends to happen is, of the thoughts that we're thinking about anything in life, about 95% of them are repetitive. We're just on repeat without setting intention to it. And of those repetitive thoughts, 80% of them are negative. So those core beliefs and those thoughts in our head might be something like, I am not capable. I'm not enough. People are unreliable. Business is hard. Losing weight is hard. Those negative thoughts tend to be what flood in because of those core beliefs. Those core beliefs flood those, they inspire those thoughts. So those thoughts tend to be negative, and those thoughts are what influence and impact our feelings, our emotions, our attitudes, the way we're feeling about ourselves, about other people, about business, about our goals, about what we can do in life. That in turn, those emotions in turn impact the actions we take or avoid, right? So if we believe, for example, that business is hard, people are unreliable, that can make us tend not to take action. Or if on the other hand, we believe that, by talking to people, people are open and people are excited, people have a need for what I have to offer, I am capable of making an impact, my message is important. If these are our core beliefs, that can lead to action that is more likely to get us the result. Because whether we're taking action or not, the actions that we take then, if you can imagine the circle going around, like our core beliefs, impact our thoughts, impact our emotions, impact our action or lack of action, and that influences our results. Whether we're talking about business results or life results or weight loss, health results, etc. Those results, come from our actions, and whatever those results are most likely going to validate our core beliefs. So if our core beliefs start out being negative, you can imagine this whole cycle has now just validated what we felt. Oh, you see, I can't do this, or you see, this is too hard, or see, I lose the weight and gain it back, or see, everyone's ignoring me, or see, that's the result, right? In reality, we can interrupt this cycle at any point. We can impact it by, changing our thoughts, by changing our actions. But ultimately, what we want to do is change our core beliefs so that we elevate our beliefs. We elevate our personal identity, how we feel about ourselves, what we believe about ourselves and the world and people, so that we can create the lifestyle that we really want. When we feel stuck in our goals and our business and our life, it could just be we're stuck in the cycle of core beliefs that's influencing our feelings and actions that validates that same potentially negative core belief. So how do we change it? Well, our affirmations help that. If you're in personal development at all, you know about affirmations. So these are things that we tell ourselves repeatedly until we believe them to be true. But then that's where vision boards can come in as well, because a vision board can be a visual tool that allows us to interrupt this pattern if it's negative, so that the results are more in alignment with what we want and our core beliefs are actually elevated. Because when we see something, and especially when we tie what we see to an emotion, the brain responds, right? a good example of this is when we watch a movie. How many times we watch a movie and you respond with laughing or crying because the subconscious brain can't tell the difference between something in reality and something that's vividly imagined. And that's what's so magical about movies, is they allow us to vividly imagine and see and experience a world that is just on the screen. It's not even real, but we get to experience like it's real. And so the brain responds in that way, just like having a vision board, not just something to look at, but when we take the time to really visualize it, to use the vision board to visualize it and to feel it and to feel like that goal, that vision is done, the brain responds in creating the actions and even subconsciously in the conversations and the energy of that ideal version of ourselves, that elevated 10 out of 10 version, the confident, driven version of ourselves that we see, so that we can create the results then that validate the core beliefs that we want, that are truly elevated. So that's where the vision board can really, really help us. Does that make sense? See, thank you guys for tuning in. I see you guys watching. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Tom. So here's a look at, this is my current one, but before I kind of point through it, I was training this morning, like I mentioned, and I pulled out an old vision board. This is from a number of years ago. And here's what I discovered. First of all, here are some ranks that were my goals at the time. Something in my company called 2-star, director, 3-star, executive, 4-star. Do you know I've now achieved all of those? And look at this. In the middle is collaboration. I had this vision of collaborating with other leaders and like-minded women especially, but men as well. And I have written here 6 executives, which is the top leadership rank, and I have 7, right? Over here I have organization and design for my home. And I've now had a couple of opportunities for people to come into my house. This is not in my own wheelhouse, not in my talents, to really stay organized on my own without some help, or to design, definitely. So I've had people come in. I remember one of my first friends who came and helped design just a couple rooms in my house. We'll look around, and she helped me. And then it wasn't too long after that, I did achieve one of my personal goals, which was to attend a trip called Top Achievers. And I'd post about it on Facebook. And she wrote a comment. She said, when I was in your house, I remember you had this poster with something called Top Achievers written on it. And sure enough, this was the poster. And even though this particular year, with this particular location, which was Hilton Head, which is actually really close to me, I did not earn that trip. It was a couple years later, the Top Achievers I won. And she remembered that. So that was really powerful. Another thing I added to this board that fell off and is now faded is actually, this has to do with a trip called President's Quest, which there's a hole in it. I poked it too. I added it on later when I learned more about it, and then I was into running and I really wanted to achieve it. And if you can see this blue glass beautiful trophy behind me, that is me earning that trip. That was on my vision board as well. So powerful. To be honest, I didn't even realize or remember that all those things I checked off until last night and this morning as I was preparing for the call. So here's my current one, and I've actually combined 3 different types of vision boards into one. So I want to share that with you because it might help you as well as you make your vision board. So there's actually the true vision board, and this is usually on my wall. That's why it's kind of propped up funny, because it doesn't stay. It's kind of heavy. It doesn't stay up very well, but there is stuff about travel, like how to travel on a nice cruise ship, even a private jet. So I'm looking forward to that someday. There's also things for the family. There are some flyers from some local schools, private schools. So many of you know my story. One of my motivations initially to grow my business was to pay for private school for my 3 girls, which they are still enjoying today. But that school stops at a certain level. And so we're looking at high schools now, and private high schools cost a little bit more. So I have it on my vision board to have my choice. There's a few different ones I have. We haven't decided which one yet, but that represents having that choice, that when we find the right one, we can afford it. There's my home is a peaceful haven. I have something that's up there. So it represents home and design and keeping it organized. There's photos about gardening and outside, like my ideal backyard. You might have seen my post yesterday where I have a small garden and I grew some okra. Just the beginning of what I hope is even more in the backyard. So I have a vision of what that's going to happen. More financial goals, like millionaire 550 in my company, 7-figure earner, lots of different things. So that's a traditional vision board, and I have that on there. Another type of board, a vision board that I have on there, is an identity board. So this would be the kind of vision board where you identify that ideal version of yourself, that most bold, visionary, giving, impactful, outgoing, confident version of yourself. Identify your gifts. How do you operate? What do you have to bring to the world? And you can put pictures and words that bring out that feeling of your ideal identity. So I have, words on here like adventure and impact and Wonder Woman and reach your goals and, it's a state of mind, all those things. So these things help to remind me of that ideal version of myself that I'm striving for in order to make a big impact and to achieve my goals as well. And then the third type of board that I have incorporated into this, again, I have my traditional vision board on here. I have my identity board, which I just described, and then my avatar board. So I have a couple of pictures and words that represent what I see as my ideal customer and ideal business partner. And so I think initially I was hesitant, and I noticed talking to other people is we're hesitant to kind of narrow down our focus because ideally, we're going to help anyone who needs what we have. But truly, when you give your brain a target, then it's more likely to find. So I've envisioned this avatar, what are her needs? What are, it's a woman, but I help men also. But to really narrow it down, she has a family. She wants more out of life. She fears missing out on with her kids. She's already achieved so much. She's an influencer. She's successful, but doesn't feel fully fulfilled, and she needs something else on the side. She wants more freedom and flexibility with it, right? So I've identified this person for ideal partner and then ideal customer. She likes natural things and she wants it all, and she wants to feel good and look good and be her best, right? So I have imagined the pain points and all the attributes of these people. And I'm imagining not only who they are, but myself connecting with them, being their friend. We are connected. We are best friends. We are able to work together, and we are in this state together. So if you're in business, especially, sometimes it can get frustrating when we experience some no's, which happen naturally, but that can lead our brain to start to expect the no's. And I don't know about you, but when my brain is expecting the no's, I'm less likely to take action. So again, back to that circle, that lack of action is going to bring the results, which are going to validate core beliefs that, oh, this isn't going to work. Where the opposite is true. If I imagine, oh, this expectation, I can't wait to meet these people who we're going to work together, it's going to be amazing, then I'm more likely to take the action, and that creates the actual outcome that I'm looking for. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Did you have a vision board? I'm curious. So you have a vision board. What's on your vision board? Would you say yours is like a vision board, an identity board, or an avatar board, or a combination of all of the above? Would love to know if this helped you out today. But thanks for listening. Let me share. I hope you have an awesome day.